But moving on, we have something far more recent and arguably far more unfortunate. We find a mining camp, and a quite prosperous one at that. We find an abundance of emerald geodes and gold deposits, a dream come true for many an aspiring prospector. But heading into the camp to find the lucky fellow, what we actually find is a very unlucky fellow. We find a man crushed by his own cart of rocks and gold. He hit the big time, and it would seem the big time hit back. But this seems a strange accident to get into, especially for an experienced miner such as this. Well, once again, we have the devil's drink to blame for untimely death in this series. Yes, crushed along with the man, and indeed spread throughout the camp, we find bottles of mead. Perhaps he was simply celebrating too soon. Don't drink in mine. Next up, we're heading to the ashy southern plains to find a bloodbath, albeit a very contained bloodbath. Here we find a collection of skeletons, blood, a body, and a chest. As we approach it, it will become clear what left them here. An ash spawn. Who would have thought? But this is quite interesting to observe. If the ash spawn are smart enough to create lures and traps like these, then perhaps they are becoming more intelligent, much like the Falmer we discussed in previous episodes. However, I think the more likely explanation is that this chest was left here for some other reason, and the ash spawn just see people approach and kill them. If it was an intentionally placed trap, you'd think they'd at least clean up the bodies. But then again, it must have worked despite the bodies being here for at least some of these people. And finally, we have high atop a waterfall, a fittingly mysterious and yet unremarkable find. A chest rests here, containing the typical randomized contents, of course. But next to the chest, we find a plain old sword and helmet. This pretty clearly shows that whoever left these items here did so intentionally. They brought this chest of random things all the way up to this hidden crevice, laid down their arms and armor, and simply left. But why? Were they becoming a monk and getting rid of all their personal possessions? It's impossible to say for sure, but we'll certainly put them to much better use.